presence.
All right, it is Tuesday. It is, what time is it? It's a little after 7 o'clock. This is time for the Life Radio Show with your host, Don Smith.
You're asking what time it is.
Well, it's behind me. That's the. What time is it,
in the
Joe?
wrong spot. It's 7:01:30 exactly.
All right, perfect. So now we know. My guest today in the studio, my guest co-host for the week, which is actually just the one show.
I was going to say, I thought it was just today.
We're doing this all week. We're just doing the whole week's worth in 2 hours right now. Joe Robinette is in as a guest co-host this week. As we hear the
you just cue the applause thing. I probably won't hear it.
We'll edit that in later. And first guest is in the studio, the first place winner, because Joe Robinette was the third place winner of Wiley's. Although I'm bumping you up to second because Bridget never answered my message. So
technicality.
So yeah, if you don't answer my message when I ask you to be on the show, you get bumped off. So Joe was the third place winner of Wiley's fireworks competition. The first place winner is actually his first time in the studio with me, and somehow that's been an oversight for 3.5 years. Dwight McCormick.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me today.
It's good to have you. Make sure you talk a lot. That way I can get a good read on where the voice is.
All right. Well,
make up for me not
talking. It was exciting to win the competition. I'm really glad to be able to be on stage and share the stage with Bridget and Joe. It was a fun night, and I was excited to win. It was unexpected, probably for more than just me. You know?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you're a clean comic. That's what surprised me. Is that's usually because you're a very clean comic. You're actually a preacher,
right? Yeah, I'm a Christian, so cussing on stage is not okay. I have to cuss behind closed doors like a real man,
right?
Like a real preacher. Yeah. No,
so,
I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. That's a meme, and that's true of me. Okay. It's a growing edge.
I was going to say I got yelled at last week because me and my guests were saying some words they didn't really like on the air. Okay. So now to make up for it, I actually booked a preacher to be on the show.
Very
that
good.
way,
all right.
I feel like my show is blessed.
There you go.
Way
it is. I didn't bring my prayer book, but I can do a generic blessing if you like later. I'll be glad.
That's okay. I think if there was any kind of prayer on this show, the board would shut down and something would catch fire somewhere.
Right,
I'm
I
pretty
imagine,
sure. Yeah.
Church and state, separate those. Yeah.
Well, yeah. We're also in a state university.
Right. Yeah.
But it's my radio show, so I can put whatever I want on there.
All right. Very good.
As long as the FCC isn't listening.
Right. Okay.
They're not.
They're not.
Almost certainly.
Nobody is.
Is there a 1 F-bomb rule per hour, or is it
what F-bomb or
1 F-bomb rule per hour? Is that how the FCC does it these days?
Yeah, I think it's when you go beyond that.
Right.
So I try to I make it mandatory.
Okay.
Nice. So we do get one.
So that's faith.
Faith
is
yes. Yeah. On this show, it's funny. We're only allowed to be funny once an hour.
All right. That's very good.
And usually we
pressure.
don't make it. So. But what got you started, Dwight? What got you started in comedy? Did you?
Well, preaching is pretty stressful sometimes, and some elders saw that I was getting really tense, and they came to me and said, "Dwight, we're afraid you're going to turn a baptism into a drowning, so we want you to take up some kind of hobby on the side." No, actually, it was a stress thing. I wanted to be a stand-up from the time I was 11 when I heard Steve Martin and Bill Cosby, or He Who Shall Not Be Named, I guess, these days.
Right. Well, back then it was okay.
Yeah, and I would listen to Richard Pryor and enjoyed them a lot. And so kind of wanted to be a stand-up from the time I was a kid, but my parents were like, why don't you be a doctor and have that as a backup career, and they really steered me away from it. But about 2006 or 2006, I found this book in the store called The Comedy Bible, and I thought, well, I'm a preacher, so Comedy Bible. But
you picked it up by accident.
Yeah. It was Providence.
Yeah, you were working on a new sermon, and you picked that up to read from. And
exactly. But people kind of make fun, and I get it. There's no right way, one way to be a comic or anything.
Right,
but she kind of gives you a way of writing. And then you put in there a date that you're going to do your first open mic, and you commit to that.
Right.
So at the time, I was in Huntington, West Virginia, and the Huntington Funny Bone had an open mic, and I signed up for it and entered the competition, and actually won that one. And that's that one, and the Wiley's one of the only ones I've won in like 12 years.
I'm just going to keep bragging.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, in 12 years' time.
Nice.
12 years. So
it's
that's
okay,
part of it,
Joe.
so.
I didn't make the finals, and I own the club.
Right.
So how old were you when you finally?
Well, I'm 46 now, so what is that, 34?
Okay.
Yeah. I was 34. I was old then. I'm old now.
It's,
but
once you get there, it's hard to get away.
Right,
from
yeah, exactly.
You reach old, and it's like you can't go back.
That's right.
That's interesting, though, because it was like kind of similar with me. It was always something I'd wanted to try, but I never did until, I was 37 3 years ago.
Okay, so pretty similar age then, yeah. Well, yeah, and I told you this on Facebook, but the difference in when you started and now is astounding. It's fun to watch you grow.
Yeah, it's tough to watch the old stuff, yeah.
Right, and I get that. Yeah, of course.
I started at 37 too.
Did
how
you really?
About that? We're all a bunch of late bloomers. Huh?
And again, it was something I always wanted to try, which is the normal story.
Sure,
but the only reason I started doing it is because I love theater.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't have time to commit because theater that's several months commitment.
Right, yeah. A lot of rehearsals every night.
And everything like that. And then you usually do 3-week run of it. And I didn't have that kind of time to commit, but I still had that craving for stage time.
Sure.
So I decided to try stand-up comedy, and that's how that was born.
That's kind of why I like being a preacher. Is I only work 1 hour a week, and the rest of the time just sports gambling. So
well, yeah, there you go. Well, a lot of your material is clean enough. You could probably slip it into a sermon, and nobody would even notice.
Right,
so
especially because there wouldn't be any laughter to
right. That's why nobody would notice. Yep, same snore as I usually get.
Right, yeah. Nothing like the sleep you get during church. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It's deep sleep. Like the library.
Years ago, I used to sleep through church too.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, I woke up one Sunday morning and was like, "Well, I can sleep here."
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's how I sleep through church too. I just don't leave the house.
Right. There you go. It's house church.
Stay home.
We have a house church, just like Jesus back in the day.
Yep. Not only do you save from putting money in the basket, you save on gas.
Save on gas, greenhouse emissions.
That's good.
You reduce your carbon footprint.
You have financial peace. My soul's burning in hell, but my
my bank account's okay.
My bank account is full.
Priorities. You got to pick your. You got to pick your own. Well, how was the transition from preacher to comic? Because I know Sam Kennison tried it and went way far the other direction.
Well, he was much more successful too. So, but
that's true. Yeah.
No, he was. My transition. I don't know if I've transitioned any. It seems like they're connected to me. They both. I mean, there's a little bit of ministry in comedy.
Right.
I mean, in the sense that I don't quit being a preacher in the comedy club. If somebody's having a hard time, I'll listen around. Just try to be chaplain like, I guess, or what. It's being a pastor is who I am. It's
right. Yeah. But, I'm not saying you're transitioning to full-time comic. It's just.
Oh, you mean like how did I switch gears?
Right.
Oh,
right.
Well, I guess on the stage I feel like I'm talking about myself a lot more, and then on Sundays I'm talking more about Jesus. I should be pointing to Jesus and God and saying, what's good about God and what people need to hear about being loved and forgiven and receiving grace. And if I'm pointing to myself on Sunday too much, then that's more about me, and that's my faith system is that's sinful. If I'm pointing more at me than at God on Sunday, then I'm off track.
Except for the finals.
I was going to say the finals were on Sunday.
Right. Oh yeah, it was on Sunday.
Yes, it was.
I don't mean to throw
honest,
throw a wrench in your.
Yeah,
two disqualifications. I bumped up the podium.
Right. From the pulpit, Yeah. So.
But that makes sense. It's the focus is the difference. Really.
Yeah. But I mean, being in the pulpit every Sunday it gives you natural skills from the mic when you're on stage. Right. I mean, if you're comfortable already getting on stage or getting in front of people, then when you go to a stage, it's not a ton different. There's a lot more drinking in the club than in the church, but not much. Not much.
Yeah, that you can see. So they got their flask down in the booth.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly,
and at the club too, probably.
Right. Yeah.
They don't
the
want
old
to pay
joke
full
is
prices.
The old joke's the Presbyterian will speak to you in the liquor store, instead of the Baptist. The Baptist will not. So, and that's what I'm Presbyterian.
Oh, okay.
Do they have a bullpen for the pulpit?
They should. They should. Pull that guy.
Right.
He's struggling.
Right.
I love that.
That's just not a
Can
bad
I use
idea.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope.
That's great. And then come up with pitches like this is my slider sermon, and just a bit outside.
There you go.
He throws a wicked curve. That's good. Preaching bullpen. I love it.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. He's pitched a no-hitter.
Struck out with that one, yeah. A buddy of mine, Jared Lowry, did a bit, like he's not a comic, but he recorded this where he did a press conference after the worship service as though he were an athlete, and it was wonderful. He gave me permission to use that on stage. I used it once at an open mic several years ago, and it's funny stuff. I mean, you have to have more stage time to do it. You can't do it in a 3-minute set.
Yeah.
But he had a towel around his neck. He's like, yeah, I was touch and go there for a while. I don't know what I was thinking there right before the offering. I kind of messed up, but in the end we came through and just all the cliches, and it was well done. But Jared Lowry, he's the pastor out of Utah. Good guy.
Oh, okay. What was I going to say? There was something else I was going to say, Joe, and I can't remember what that is now.
I don't know. I have trouble remembering myself. So.
Well, how did you feel in the competition on Sunday?
I was surprised.
Already gone through
I was very happy with third. I thought that there's a lot of good competition in it, and I thought I had good sets though too, which I hardly ever say that, but I felt pretty good about them, especially Saturday night. But it was fun.
It's good every now and then to be able to say I had a good set.
Right, right. That was not the case Saturday night. I did a guest set, and I don't think anybody wanted to be at a comedy club that night. At least none of the audience members.
I've heard that was the second show.
They were rough. They were rough.
Kind of a rough.
All show.
Well, the first show Saturday night, we didn't have a big crowd, but they
it was
were
a decent
into
crowd,
the show.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
right.
they were into the show.
Yeah,
which makes a huge difference.
Oh,
you can have double the amount of people, and if they're not into the show, it's
sometimes
just not
one table. It's amazing. One table can make or break it. But if they're engaged and laughing, and that can be the difference maker. But Saturday was not fun. And kind of made up for it Sunday. Got a spot on the Sunday comics. Because I think she had a few drop out, which, of course, I went there in shorts and sandals, and she's like, "You're on the show."
In shorts.
In shorts and sandals, yeah.
Who's the comic that wrote that book, Don't Wear Shorts on Stage? Or
Is that a title?
Yeah, I think I've heard
it's
of
like
that
a picture of a guy in the short. He's out of Columbus. He looks kind of like Jeff Goldblum. I can't remember his name to save my life. Somebody out there that will know.
And I followed
Rob,
a first-timer in shorts who was just going to wing his set because
that
always goes.
That.
Yeah,
that goes
great.
great.
Especially when you see them drinking beers and they're pounding beers before the show, and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm just going to shoot from the hip and wing it tonight." And it's like that usually works out really good. For,
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
two or three people
here's
through
some
history.
more advice. Don't pay attention to the light. Just
Right,
keep going.
right.
It doesn't matter because you're winging it. We understand.
And when you don't get laughs, just keep saying whatever you're saying.
Yeah,
Stay
repeat
with
it a couple times just to make sure, and say, "Well, that's funny,"
and blame the audience the entire time, and then start cussing.
And if they cut your microphone off, just slam it down.
Talk louder.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta love open mics for that reason.
Right.
You never know what kind of foolishness.
It's true. I enjoyed the Pandy Kaufman that Canistero did. I loved watching
Pandy
that.
Kaufman. That wasn't a bad open mic set. That was just a lot of fun.
Who was the guy called Action Jackson? I never found out what the story was behind that. Did he get into his underwear on stage?
Yeah, that was the guy. I think he was in cowboy boots and boxer shorts.
Okay,
that was right before my time. I never got to meet him.
Yeah. What about did you ever get to see Puke?
I did. I got video of Puke stepping off the front of the stage.
That was Puke's second appearance, I believe,
right.
Second or third.
Calls himself Puke.
Yeah, he's
dressed like Pauly Shore and just rambling on about not really sure what.
Oh man.
Yeah, most of it is pretty either racist or chauvinistic from everything I've heard from him. Because he I think Puke is more of a title that he earned,
right?
Than the name he calls himself.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but they cut his mic, and he tried to leave the stage by walking on one of the tables in the front of the stage that was empty, and he didn't stay centered, which it can be done. I've tested it at the club. If you stay centered, you can step on the table and step off, but he stepped on the edge, and it didn't work.
Don't
no, physics took over, and Puke hit the ground.
Joe, don't step on my table.
I thought you might say so. This was before.
Right. Oh, okay.
This was before your era.
If you were stepping on the previous
it was their
tables, absolutely.
Right.
As far as, but
I just needed to prove to myself that it could be done.
Right.
Yeah, I don't step on the tables anymore.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks. Because that's reserved for like the lower echelon of comics. You placed in the competition.
Nice.
Right.
No
You aren't
more
allowed
table
to do that.
stepping.
Yeah, no table stepping.
No table
dances for you.
I quit standing on the communion table at church too. It was distracting.
There's still part of me that thinks I got third because people that were there for their people put their person and then the worst two. So there's still part of me that thinks that's why I got third.
Oh, please, come on.
People were writing.
Nah.
No, Ed didn't place. So.
Yeah, it's with his crowd,
Ed
with his crowd work contest set. Surprised that didn't work.
Yeah,
what was it?
Pretty much a crowd work set.
Right. Oh yeah, I was surprised by that. That's a bold choice.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. He said he was going to do it.
Okay.
I said, yeah, you should.
That was
you
planned,
absolutely
huh?
should. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can see if you're just not really in it to win it, like you're just like, I mean, it really, because that doesn't seem like a winning strategy, in my opinion. I mean, we're all in agreement, right?
I would stick with jokes, yes.
But he was able to get laughs, and also out of like political jokes, he got laughs, and that was bold, I thought too. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, I pick on Ed. But he's good.
I've only seen him a handful of times, but enjoyed him, and then he being in front of me helped my set, in terms of because of doing
he warmed the crowd up.
Right,
He did crowd work.
Well,
got
a piece of that,
Yeah.
and then also being an African American, the nature of my material, it kind of goes hand in glove to be able to say what I say at the beginning of my set and say Ed told me to say that. Then if he wasn't before me, then it's a little harder to get into that joke. So he really helped me.
Yeah. Ed has a likability about him.
He really
on stage,
does,
and he pretty much destroys it in 5 minutes usually.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got 5 minutes, and it's like, and we're done. No.
Yeah.
We don't
he has a
like him
likability on stage, and if he
until
would
he
just
talks,
stay
right?
there.
Dwight, we love you most when you're quiet. Ed, we love you most when you're quiet.
Ed's funny. I like Ed, and he usually listens. That's why I go ahead and make fun of him.
I got you, yeah.
Although today he's probably not listening,
right,
and this is all wasted.
Right,
Yep.
that's okay. He heard I was on. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
Oprah's Book of the Month Club? Please. We've got something much better in store for you.
Let's talk about books. The energy is right. I got a candle going. It feels good.
Every Monday morning, Jessica Gillen sits down and talks with you about the very best in books and literature.
Murder on the Orient Express, The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter, The Cruel Prince.
It's The Bookseller, every Monday morning, brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Hey man, this is Donnie Baker at Wiley's Comedy Club, and you're listening to WWSU 106.9. I swear to God.
All right, we are back on the Life Radio Show. I'm your host Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host for the week today, Joe Robinette.
Howdy.
And our guest for the first half of the show is Dwight McCormick.
Hey, how's it going?
Going all right.
Good.
I had to play. We played some Choke Hazard, and I had to follow that up with a little bit of Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch, which is, as I said, Dayton's number one space funk band, because they're Dayton's only space funk band.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of space funk bands out there.
Right, that's true.
So
that's to our loss.
Exactly. We need more. We need more space funk. Is what we need.
We need more cowbell, and we need more space funk.
More cowboys, more cowbell, and more space funk. That's so. I keep hoping for the next Mr. Wiggly's album to hit stores. Yeah. It's bound to be. It's due any day.
With Space Force now, Space Funk might take off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. True. This is the time for it. This is the time of space funk.
Right.
Good. I kind of like it. I like the guitar tuning. It's kind of a Hendrix X.
Yeah, it's got that wah wah pedal going on.
Yeah,
a little bit of whack whack.
We'll make sure to play some more before the before the night's over.
Sounds good.
What did I say? The time of space funk. I think that's the name of this episode. Just
all right.
So, oop! I almost misspelled funk. Whole different episode.
Yeah. It'll be a thing someday.
It's an FCC violation in the title.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So where were we? Where did we leave off? We kind of left off at a quiet spot. So nothing was hanging when we went to break.
No.
Yeah. So we're back.
All right. Better than ever.
Yeah. Do you have any shows coming up that you want to promote? Or
yeah, I get to be down at the Village Cup in South Charleston on Thursday night with Dan Dean. He runs a show out of the coffee shop over there, so I get to close that show out, and looking forward to that. So Thursday night at 7 over South Charleston Village Cup.
South Charleston Village Cup?
Yep, looking forward to that.
Coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a while since I've done a coffee shop show, but it's a lot nicer when the people are awake.
Usually a reason for that.
Yeah, yes.
I guess it depends where the coffee shop is.
Right.
Yellow Springs is usually kind of tough.
Yeah.
Really?
For me, anyway.
Which one did you do? 'Cause I don't know
Spirited
if Spirited
Goat.
Goat. Yeah. That Luke Capazzi
Right, yeah.
used to run that.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Does he still do one out there? Or?
I don't know.
I don't think
I haven't
because
seen
they
any
still
flyers
have
for it for a
because
while.
Spirited Goat still has on Thursday. I think they still
like
have
a general open mic.
general
comedy
music and
poetry.
comedy and
Just
everything.
all comers kind of thing. Yeah.
Which I mean, in those I really don't see comedy doing that well in a general open mic,
Right.
Like that, just because most people are that kind of open mic are there for music.
All right. It's often
Which
the
we were
case.
just talking about. Music and comedy has a hard time mixing.
Right.
A little bit.
And,
Yeah. A buddy of mine, Rick Roberts, out of Nashville, Tennessee, went to an open mic comedy night, and he thought it was an open mic music night. And so he starts out playing Born to Be Wild or something. No, he plays Bridge Over Troubled Waters. He's first on the night, and he's sitting there and nobody's into it. And he's like, "What's going on, man?" He's like, "Oh, I'll just wow him with Born to Be Wild." And he plays that, and then somebody comes up and is like, "You realize this is a comedy show, right?" But yeah, he's been in it a number of years now and is a pro and does it for a living. He's a former president of there's a Christian Comedy Association, and he was our former president. Jason Earls is the guy now out of Texas.
There is a Christian comedy.
There is a Christian Comedy Association. We've had had several conferences in Nashville, and then next year is in Dallas. Haven't been to Dallas, Texas, but Jason Earls is a comic out of Dallas, and he's a real good guy and real funny. And I found out we shared a bit, twerking for Jesus. So that's one he does, and I didn't know, so I can't do that one anymore. It's such a solid bit, twerking for Jesus.
Yeah,
it's gold.
Well,
it's comedy
absolutely,
gold, really. So,
absolutely. Well, twerking for anything, but twerking for Jesus especially.
It brings an image, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The joke was that we would use it as a promotion to try to get young people, so twerking for Jesus. It was misguided.
A little bit. But that's okay. There are a lot of misguided
church promotions
where their heart's in it. You can tell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Pimp My Pew was always a good one, We put
Pimp My Pew.
Put the 20-inch Giovanna rims on there, have
nice.
the
Nice.
faith-based video game systems in the back, the Sony PlayStation 4 and Exodus Box 360. Exodus Box 1, that's what it is now.
See, if I'm going to pimp my pew, it's got to have hydraulics.
Right, there you go.
It's got to be hopping.
That's right. My favorite was the credit card machine in the back, so people could just slide their pledge. And I put the amount okay button up at the pulpit. Amount okay.
So you approve it. Yeah,
amount okay. Amount okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The problem came when they started hitting the cash back button. That was awkward.
That would be,
much like the silence after that joke.
That's okay. We have that on this show every now and then.
That'll happen.
And that's the hard part is because every now and then you try to do a bit or work on a bit and you're sitting here with two other comics that are just like, hey, moving on.
Yeah. Okay. Nice hearing from you. Somebody cut his mic.
Yeah.
Cut that guy's mic.
Yep. Give him the light.
You got the light 17 times in 3 minutes.
Yep, that's what I need over here. I need a light that way. And we're done. So this really isn't a place to come in and do material.
Right.
I've had guests on the show that thought that's all it was, and they would sit over there, kept trying to do
jokes.
material. And it's like, nope. Hey, conversation.
More conversation. Gotcha. All right. I'll shift back then. My bad.
No, it's fun every now and then. If you're talking about a joke and kind of dissecting it or sharing something then
so
that's
workshopping it.
If
all
it's
right.
organic, it's organic to the conversation, absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I make some of the worst puns possible.
Right.
You should be in here with myself and Scotty Mays. We make some really it's like a really bad pun competition.
Gotcha.
When we're in here. So, well, let's hit a few news stories and see what we can come up with.
Sounds good.
To stir some silliness.
All right.
At least some puns.
And actually, I've had guests that left here with brand new material from my news stories.
All right, cool.
There was a comic, I saw him, it's a couple months after he did my show, and he did a full 5-minute brand new set,
Nice.
all based on a news story that
So
we
take
covered on
notes,
my
you
show.
say.
So
Yeah.
take
Take
notes,
notes.
absolutely. Especially this first one. I have high hopes for this one.
All right.
Just it's kind of brutal,
All
but
Lord help us.
we have a phone call coming in. I'm not going to answer it.
Oh,
Unless you want, does somebody think I should answer this phone call? Because
see who it is.
we
I
haven't
don't know.
had a whole
We can
lot of
hang up
luck.
on 'em, right?
Probably.
you're running the
It
show,
may
man.
not even work.
Let's see what happens.
This is the life. You're on the air.
Oh, I'm sorry. I called right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not. Hey, all right, perfect. It's nobody. That I am glad we took the time to to do that.
That's a terrible bit. I don't know if I'd do that one
call
again.
Ed. We'll try to get you on next time. Anyway, moving on. A homeless man with no arms has been arrested in Miami after he stabbed a tourist with a pair of scissors, according to police. Jonathan Crenshaw is a fixture in South Beach, known for painting canvases with his feet in a heavily trafficked tourist area. Just after midnight on Tuesday, police said that he stabbed 22-year-old Cesar Coronado, who was visiting the area from Chicago. Crenshaw told officers he was lying down when Coronado punched him in the head, according to the arrest report obtained by the Miami Herald. Crenshaw used his feet to grab a pair of scissors and struck Coronado twice before walking away, police said. Police found Coronado bleeding from his left arm. He was taken to the local hospital for treatment. Coronado and a friend denied that Coronado hit Crenshaw and told officers they were only asking for directions when the homeless man jumped up and stabbed Coronado. Crenshaw is being held at Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center. Turner Guilford Knight. That's a
Law firm.
That's a
sounds
very
like.
commercial.
That's a
correctional
private prison.
facility.
Prison
Yeah.
has become more commercial. It's
Pretty
about
much.
money making.
Yeah.
And,
They
He's
couldn't
being-
just call it Jeff Sessions prison.
right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's only if it's marijuana charges.
That's true.
Crenshaw's being held on $7,500 bail. He is charged with aggravated battery, according to online records.
Man.
So
Strange that they start the story off describing him as a homeless man. I think I would
yeah.
describe him first as an armless man.
right,
You know,
Well,
I think
when you
that
have-
trumps
which is the
homeless.
more
Right.
important
Right.
detail at
If you
this
have-
point.
but-
If you're stabbing somebody with scissors,
Right.
probably the pertinent
It's
detail
kind
is
of
you have
impressive,
no
though,
harm.
that he has the hand-foot coordination
Right,
to do
exactly.
that.
Would be
Right.
the foot-eye coordination.
Right. Yeah. The
Did I
foot-eye
say I said
coordination.
hand-foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand-foot,
Foot-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Due to
Yeah.
the lack of
Imagine.
hands.
He'd be a
Yeah.
great soccer player, I guess. Yeah.
Well, if he put down the scissors.
Yeah.
Well, he said he stabbed him with the scissors and then walked away. I'm sure he limped away if he was still holding scissors with his foot.
Yeah.
Unless he set the scissors down, in which case you just stabbed a fellow with scissors and then gave him your weapon. You
Right.
should probably run away and
Right.
not walk.
Right.
The whole story doesn't hold water.
All right. It's just, yeah. It's
That-
odd. Yeah.
Probably can't tread water either. I think you need
gosh. That reminds me of that old joke. What do you call a dog with no legs? Doesn't matter. It won't come anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. So yeah, well, I guess if you paint with your feet, you should be able to pick up
Right,
a pair of scissors.
right.
I mean, you should be pretty handy with your feet. If
Unless
you
he
have
just
no
dip-
arms, you don't
Right.
have a choice.
But we don't necessarily know that he's
Oh,
painting with a
gosh.
brush with his feet. He might just be dipping his feet in paint and
That's
pressing
true.
them against canvas or
Toe,
something.
Yeah,
toe
that's true.
painting
That's
instead
true.
of finger painting.
Yeah.
Toe painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be, because it doesn't go into detail about his artwork.
Right. They left out a lot. They should have done more.
And
Yeah.
the fact that he's homeless, what's he using for paint?
Right.
I see a lot of brown
gosh.
artwork.
Whoa.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
that.
that image.
All I wanted to do was tell a nice story.
A nice story.
I call
That's a
this
nice
one
story.
brown
Tell a
flowers.
nice story about
poor-
a harmless homeless
a
guy
poor homeless
that
guy went to
stabbed
prison.
somebody with scissors and went to jail, and you ruined it with poop jokes. God, Joe.
That was a painting joke.
Oh, it was a painting
Yeah,
joke. My bad. It was a modern art joke.
Right.
Oh. I still love that story. That was so much fun for me.
Definitely imagery. A lot of imagery involved.
It'd be nice to have video to go with it.
Everything's on YouTube. That's
right.
definitely
Right.
There's cameras everywhere.
That'd go viral.
Right. Somebody film that.
Yep. Somebody let him back out of just. Somebody go pay his bail.
Right.
And make him do it again.
Right.
A woman in Harrow, London, thought she heard something suspicious in her home Thursday morning, but it was not what she thought. It was not what she thought. I'm just reading them as they're written.
Okay.
The loud noises prompted the woman to phone the police and report a suspected burglary. When officers responded, they only found a, quote, rogue squirrel, according to a tweet from Harrow Borough Police. The female caller was very distressed and called 999, which is the United Kingdom's version of 911, as she heard noises downstairs and believed she was being burgled. Officers attended on blue.
I like that, burgled.
As opposed to buggered.
Yeah, burgled. Officers attended on blue lights and attended on blue lights. That's just a weird statement.
Maybe that's a British thing.
Yeah, we attended on blue lights. And established the only suspect was a squirrel who had knocked some items over and caused a bit of a mess. The spokesman added that the furry perp was released with no charges.
Been a little better ending if he was drawn and quartered.
Right.
Or if he didn't have any front paws and he stabbed him with a pair of scissors.
Right. When questioned why he was there, he said he was squirreling away a little cash for the future.
You guys are nuts. See what I mean? Bad puns. That's all I'm good for. It's just, really bad news story puns.
I do like the word burgled, though. That's true.
Well, I like the idea
of burglar.
I like the idea of 999.
Right.
That's a lot easier
if
you're in a panic.
Number,
Like, why do you have to go to the other? Because you're going catty corner all the way across the dial.
And you're under a lot of pressure.
Exactly. You never know. You might not be able to find that one in time.
Yeah. Did you ever see that show, IT Crowd? The IT Crowd, they have a joke about that where they say if you're in an emergency, just dial, and it's like 997-432-17864.
Yeah, for an emergency. Yeah.
So it kind of keeps going on. Good gag.
Oh, it's the end of an era for a man who holds the world record for longest fingernails on one hand.
Aw. I was pulling for him.
Yep, Sridhar Chalal of Pune, India, hadn't cut the fingernails on his left hand since 1952.
Wow.
When he was 14 and a teacher got mad at him for breaking a nail. He really took that to heart.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. PTSD.
Jalal decided to see how long he could grow them, even though the Guinness Book of World Records didn't exist back then. The 82-year-old record holder managed to get his nails to grow a collective length of about 29 feet 10 inches before being officially honored by Guinness in November 2014, but he decided to cut away an important part of his life earlier this week when he flew to New York to have the nails removed by a doctor. The nails are now on display at Ripley's Believe It or Not Auditorium in Times Square.
Wow.
Because why not? If you're going to grow them that long, they should at least hang on display somewhere.
Don't you have to have unemployed in your title when you say
how do
you walk around with your 29-foot nails?
Unemployed
is
implied.
Like a carriage?
Yeah, I think you have
like a grocery basket.
Yeah, you used to keep
a bag?
like a silk bag.
Oh, so you've seen this guy?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. It's hard telling how many of them are out there.
Well, he just had.
There can't be that many.
You wouldn't think.
He's the other guy with 29 foot. That's the guy with the 26 foot fingernails.
Yeah, that's slacker.
So he
amateurs
had a bag. He only has 10 foot nails.
He was the third place guy.
Right.
He's been chewing on his. There's no dedication there. He can't get chewing them.
Say his dog might have been chewing on him too.
Gosh. So he bagged up his hands.
It was just one hand. It was his left hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could still hold some kind of a job, I guess. It just have to be really careful.
Button pusher.
Yep. Only if there were one button.
Right.
Couldn't be a traffic cop.
Yeah. A lot of flat tires in that neighborhood.
Couldn't direct traffic at the airport or the planes.
No, couldn't be a baggage handler. That wouldn't work too well.
Might be an interesting bartender if he could like cocktail Tom Cruise it and like pour the drinks so they ran down his fingernails into the glass. That might be neat.
It'd be a good
That
little
would be.
trough there.
Would be,
That would be interesting. He could fill 4 or 5 glasses at once, just pour it down. Yeah. That would be a good trick.
That would be.
And if you're going to grow your fingernails that long, you should learn to do stuff like that anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Huh.
The things he couldn't do are just about limitless. That's true. When you have one hand completely, but I bet he could still stab somebody with scissors with his feet.
Right. Oh, gosh.
If an unarmed homeless man can do it, then a guy with one...
Those two need to fight. they need to fight or meet or something.
But the one guy lost his claws though, so
he's just done for it.
He'd be a ringer either way.
Have
though.
another 40 or 50 years.
He's got
to
these
regrow
extra
them.
hands now.
They need to fight.
He's probably got an apprentice.
Yeah.
Oh God, forgive us.
Yep. Half
Oh, my
Wolverine.
goodness.
That's
right. Yeah. He's like Wolverine, except real and not as cool.
Yeah. Yep. He's only half as cool. Although if he has to carry them around in a bag, they're probably pretty brittle.
Right.
Then once they've been out there so long, how do you keep from breaking?
I don't know.
Just sheer willpower at that point.
Right. Maybe he just drinks a lot of milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the picture, they looked pretty thick. They looked like snakes.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Very creepy, too.
Yeah, it was.
Is Saturn singing to one of its moons? See, we'll completely shift here. Is Saturn singing to one of its moons? NASA said its Cassini spacecraft picked up something very unusual and unexpected when it plunged into Saturn on its final mission last year. Well, I guess if it's going to plunge into a planet, it's going to be its final mission.
Must be a song.
It detected a series of plasma waves heading from Saturn to its rings into one of its moons, which I'm not going to say because I can't really pronounce it, or I don't feel like trying to pronounce it the first time on the air. I should probably go over these before I go live. Read
the copy first.
Nah, just hand them to me. I'm good. Anyway, NASA said researchers converted those plasma waves into an audio file in the same way a radio translates electromagnetic waves into music. The result is a trippy sound file which compresses 16 minutes of plasma waves into 28.5 seconds of out-of-this-world audio.
And that's coming out on the Space Funk album
Yeah, I
next
was
month.
going to say, Mike Canistero is working on lyrics now.
I'm going to share it. I'm going to share that file on the air so we all get to listen.
All right.
And then Mike can copy it.
Okay.
And Mr. Wiggly's Exploration launch.
Very
This is
good.
going to be part of their new album.
Excellent.
So let me see. Let me see if I can find this first because I know I have it on here somewhere. Let me see if I can actually get it to play. It's really weird and absolutely senseless, but we're going to go ahead and play it.
All 16 minutes?
All 16 seconds.
16
16
seconds.
Well, yeah, what is it?
Now 16 minutes of plasma.
We're going to get the free bird of Saturn.
And that's the rest of the show. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for coming by, Dwight. You were so bad we're replacing you with
The
plasma
last
waves.
16 minutes of the show.
Here's what Saturn sounds like.
See, you weren't listening to the whole thing, Joe.
Minutes, seconds.
The sound file compresses 16 minutes of plasma waves into 28.5 seconds of audio.
Okay.
Sounds like they're cheating a little bit, though.
It does. It's like,
This is
do
like a
we want to
Brian
listen
Williams
to this whole thing? No, let's just
experiment.
shorten it a little bit. How much should we shorten it? I think 28 seconds is all we
Right,
really need
right.
to get the point of what it's saying.
Yeah,
We don't need Stairway to Heaven from Saturn. You know?
You get a pretty good sense of it after 28 seconds.
How much can it really change? Are they going to do a drum solo?
Right.
It's a planet. All right.
This is not the live version.
It's Peter Frampton live.
Yeah.
This is the studio.
This is the studio.
All right.
recording.
This is from the Saturn Studio album. Here we go. 16 minutes. 28.5 seconds of Saturn singing to its moons. All this setup for this. People are going to be really
so
disappointed.
ready to hear this.
And here we go.
Undiscovered country.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That is that's the Enterprise looking for humpback whales. They didn't go back quite far enough because in the movie they went back to the 80s because the movie was made in the 80s.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. So that wasn't that exciting. All that setup for that.
Yeah, there's no Wrath of Khan. But
yeah. I kept waiting for what's his name to break in. Was that Robert Plant? I can't stand that.
Robert Plant did not play Khan. No.
It
was Ricardo Montalban.
Montalban. Yeah.
Right, but they're pretty much the
I kept
same.
wanting to be like rich Corinthian leather. There's a throwback.
Not a Robert Plant fan, huh?
Yeah, I haven't heard too many folks that don't like Zeppelin.
Right.
Until he starts.
Oh, you
Really?
like the guitarists?
Yeah. I don't really care for all
Bonham,
that.
John Bonham.
And actually, I like a song with Robert Plant singing
Right.
for part of it.
Okay. All right.
And then he
It's a great
starts
song,
screaming.
All right.
And
Which
most
one?
of it's,
Which one do you know offhand, or just
Which
in
one
general?
doesn't he?
Yeah, he screams in most of them.
That's true.
The history behind that, I think I've heard that all those guitar licks were taken from African American bluesmen.
they
Is that
stole
that's
everything.
right, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
One of the
Yeah,
many
maybe
things
not the
we've
guitar
stolen.
so much. Probably some of the guitar, but a lot of the lyrics and
Yeah.
the bases of the songs were
Yeah,
lifted.
Well, I'm
pretty
pretty
identical.
sure the same thing's going to come out about Saturn.
yeah.
And what we just
Probably.
because
Yeah.
you could hear it in the background.
Yeah,
of it.
Jupiter was doing that tune.
Listen to this clip we
years
have from
before.
Jupiter. See the similarities. This is just like that Ghostbusters song stolen from Huey Lewis and the News. Getting down to the bottom of the space theft.
Yeah.
Space funk and space
Yep,
theft.
space funk, space theft. That's why we need a space force to keep
That's right.
all this funk in order.
We do.
Yeah. And that's why I had to play some Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch, because we were going to get into the real face face spunk.
Space spunk is something much different.
Yeah, that's a different
Certainly
band.
is. Space funk. Every now and then.
Wow. I'm sorry we made you think that. I mean, I'm talking to the audience.
Sometimes it just doesn't pay to do a radio show on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock at night. We have one more. I don't know if we should do that one. We'll skip that one. We'll come back to that one later.
Okay.
This I just love the name of this one. It's really not a. It's really kind of a sad story. The now infamous Verrucht water slide, billed as the tallest in the world, is expected to be demolished shortly after Labor Day, after a Wyandotte County, Kansas judge granted the amusement park company permission to tear it down. 10-year-old Caleb Thomas Schwab was decapitated, and two women were seriously injured riding the 17-story water slide at Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City, Kansas. Schlitterbahn does not sound like it should be in Kansas City.
No, it
that
doesn't.
should be in
German.
Germany.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, welcome to the Schlitterbahn Water Park.
Right.
This little band water slide.
Schlitterbahn.
Don't lose your head.
Yes. Wear this neck brace.
Yeah. Anyway, just 18 months, all these things happened just 18 months after the amusement park ride debuted. It has remained closed ever since. Court orders blocked.
You think?
Yeah. Court orders blocked the company from dismantling the ride while officials investigated.
It's so hideous.
Yes. The court has granted approval to take down the ride, Schlitterbahn Water Parks and Resorts announced in a curt Facebook post on Thursday. A curt Facebook post.
Kind of cut it short,
Yeah, they're kind of snotty about killing the cat. Yeah. It's
that's rough. You said 10 years old.
10 years old.
Man.
I believe he was a politician, like a senator's son or something.
Oh, yeah.
He may not have been a senator, but representative or something.
Well, that's why they had to investigate. They weren't sure if it was an accident.
Right.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, 70-foot water slide. What could go wrong?
Right.
I mean, you think that something like that's
you
going to
would-
be safe and there's going to be no problems.
Yeah.
And gravity and physics.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, why build the water? Why build a slide that high? Just go off the falls.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they didn't have falls in the Schlitterbahn. They had to build their own.
Right.
So.
It's flat out there. They have to build their mountains.
Yeah,
too,
Kansas City. Yep, we had to. I still don't know where they got Schlitterbahn from. I think that's the most fascinating part of the story to me.
It's like Cinnabon, but it's for beer. Yeah.
Yep.
Schlitterbahn.
Yep, Schlitterbahn. It's just fun to say. That's all I'm saying.
It really is.
Well, we're going to have to wrap up this hour of the show on that happy note. We're going to
Yeah.
Tune in for the next hour of decapitation stories.
Water slide death part.
Yeah, well, I could have read the other story, but it didn't feel right.
And that one did.
And that one did. I figure either way, Dwight can pray for us.
I feel grateful that you didn't read the other one right now.
But you don't even need to know
if that
what
one
it is.
made the cut,
If that one
sorry
was
for the
the
pun.
winner
If
of
that
the
one
two.
made the cut, then
Well, we'll get to the other one later.
Okay,
You know,
all right. I'll listen in then.
Yeah.
I'll stick
You'll
around.
listen in
I'll
and
stick
see
around.
what lost to that one we just did.
Yeah.
So anyway, you have, you do have shows coming up?
Yeah, I'll be there at the Village Cup on Thursday night over in South Charleston. And if they want to check me out at preachercomic.com, that'll show other shows that are coming up. I'm usually up about once a month. A lot of church shows, things like that. So not as maybe broad appeal for the audience, the Dayton comedy audience. But hoping to get up some and do some hosting weekends and things soon. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, thanks for
It's
coming
been a blast.
on. It's
Thanks,
been
Joe,
a lot
for
of fun.
Yeah, appreciate you.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a little break. We're going to send Dwight on his way after a prayer for our mortal souls.
Right.
Because we could probably use it at this point.
Amen.
See that they have new DJ controls in here, so I'm probably going to mess this up. But let me see what I can do to take a break, and we will be back here shortly.
Move over, Jimmy Kimmel. Step aside, Conan O'Brien. Back off, Stephen Colbert. It's my turn. I'm Mike Shea, and every Tuesday on my show, Mike Talks Funny, I sit down and talk with comedians, actors, film fans, podcasters, anybody willing to get down, get deep, and get dirty.
I don't remember the first time I had sex. That was horrible. I didn't even finish the first time I had sex.
I've tasted what most comics want, and now I have to go back and eat the leftovers.
You're so brave for wearing that shade of lipstick on stage. My God.
Think of Last Comic Standing, and Mystery Science Theater 3000 had a baby, and that's the show.
My online doppelganger is also a larger black man. He is Adrian Miller. All the top results are he's a professor.
Interviews with great people, not to mention all kinds of awesome new music every show.
Hey, this is Don Smith.
This is Scotty Mage.
Hey, this is Kevin Goatee with Comics Watching Comics.
Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Now, you've been staring over that edge for hours. And people die down there. And dying when you're not really sick is really sick, Really.
All right, we are back on the live radio show here on WWSU. I'm your host, Don Smith. We kicked Dwight McCormick out after a quick prayer for everything that we discussed in the last hour, and I think we're going to be okay, Joe.
I think so.
Yeah, Joe Robinette's guest co-host for this. There goes Dwight now. He stopped by to pray for himself too, I guess. Anyway, we're Joe Robinette's my guest co-host for the evening. And,
for the week.
For the week. See, now you're into the whole week thing, especially since this is it for the whole
week's
week.
A day. I wish the work week was a day.
Yeah, well, since I'm not going to be live here again till next week, this is the whole week.
Right.
I get my whole week out of the way in 2 hours on a Tuesday night. It's a good life.
If you can get it.
If you can get it. Our second guest is in the studio with us, Mr. Dusty Harvey.
Hello. Congratulations on making it through the week, everybody.
Almost.
Almost.
We still got another 53 minutes.
53 minutes, and then we're good. What was the sermon like? Was he real preachy with it, or did he kind of like mix
a bunch of
it?
stuff about this Jesus character. I don't know if it's a comic book or a Marvel spinoff.
Sounds fictional to me.
I thought he wrote a book. I thought they wrote a book called the Bible or something.
He said something about Leviticus.
French,
I don't watch much sci-fi. But.
Deuteronomy is just a sequel to Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Nice. I thought it was the Greek version of Everybody Poops. Sorry. That was a translation of it.
That's the Google Translate, Deuteronomy, everybody poops. Do you ever get that on like Facebook when it's like a person of a different race and it's just like they say something in English and I'm like, translate this, and I'm like, you're racist, Facebook. That makes me laugh so hard every time I see it. It's funny.
So you guys talk to different races on Facebook?
Just one. Just
a couple.
Just one. He cuts my yard.
Filipino this week.
Yep, he amigoed you. So
I was just like, we're amigos now. So
sent you an amigo request, and you're good. Oh, that is terrible.
All right, that went 1 to 100 real quick. Everybody,
I'm sorry for this. I'm practicing my apology speech already.
That's
for that
fair.
Because someday I'm going to be famous, and this episode's going to be brought up, and it's going to ruin me.
Sunday it happens, huh?
Someday.
Oh, someday. I thought you said Sunday.
It's Sunday. He will be famous on Sunday.
Right.
Could be.
Just Sunday, though.
Just Sunday.
Right.
It's just the one.
Who are you, the Grim Reaper?
Yeah. Might want to check Dom for weapons.
Yeah. I'm going to be famous this Sunday. Oh, that's terrible. Can you even joke about that? I don't think so.
Probably not, especially not here.
Yeah, you know.
Who cares?
Yeah,
I'm at that point. I'm like, if I offend you, I offend you. What are you?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't have words for it. It's just like you bit in the table. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Just pounding the table.
Well, every time you do, my mic goes down a little bit more. So before long, I'll be broadcasting with my cheek on the desk.
Oh, okay. That'd be
my
good
other
for
one. My
your
other
other.
Yeah, but that's called the next break.
No, that's the next break. That's fair.
So when is the last time you have been on this show? Because it has been years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Stained sang that song.
Yeah. 'Cause I think the last time you were here, I was working here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I was here. I think I've done this show 2 or 3 times. I did Ohio is on Fire with Daniel Diesel.
Gotta love Ohio. Gotta love Dan. He's great.
He's a good guy. Yeah. He's a good guy.
I'm gonna have to get him back on the show.
You should.
He came back. He brought Ohio's on Fire back again after he quit the last time for his last time ever. He came back again after he quit for his last time.
Who is he? The Eagles?
So he can quit again for his last time ever, and I mean it.
His farewell tour will happen again in a year and a half.
Yep.
I think I was on with Rob Haney.
I believe you were.
A long time, a Bob and Tom veteran, and an open mic comic, as he told me to my face.
That's good.
I was real thrilled.
On the show?
No, it was like off the air. It's like, you open micers, and I'm like, I'm right here. At least
he was probably talking to me too.
Talking to everybody.
It's just everybody's an open micer to him.
No, when you're 20 years in, yeah.
Open micer.
Yeah, don't talk to me until you're 10 years in. Then I might call you.
Yep. Then I might let you host a week.
Maybe. At the club he doesn't even own. He's just giving out weekends. Like, hey, you get a weekend. You're pretty funny. Yeah. Where at? My kitchen table. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. So what's been happening in your comedy life or in your life? I know there's a kid or something.
Yeah,
we
have a little baby, cute baby. She's cute. She's a rascal, but she's a cute rascal. And she might be teething or she might be autistic. That's a callback to the commercial. I'm sorry, listeners and commercial people, but there's something you can do about it. Just listen to that commercial.
Right, exactly.
Again.
We'll
I'll
have
never
to
be
find
back.
that.
I just got disinvited forever.
Play it back again.
Yeah, we should hear that again.
No, because I thought it was hilarious because it was a kind of a jump on the commercial. That's what we were discussing because it said maybe she's teething and then it jumped straight to autism.
And it's a big jump. Yeah, but got a baby. Got a baby. Got a wife. I don't think I had a wife last time I was on either.
I don't think you were getting ready to.
Yeah, it was.
You were in preparation.
Yeah, we were
to be wived.
Yeah, we were rounding second. I think is what we were doing then.
I did. I had one last time.
You had a wife last
Definitely.
time. Where?
Last 4 times actually.
Last.
Yeah. I've had a wife every time I've done this show.
Wow, nice everybody. I don't know.
See, I started out with one.
Yeah.
As soon as I was doing the show, I already had one.
Yeah. Well, good for you for keeping on, wife.
Well, she's got a lot of stamina, I guess, because she's
for sure has to have it. You know.
Yeah. Keep trying to shake her. It just stays right there. She's
nice,
pretty slick.
Nice. I'm proud of you, Don.
Yeah,
Very
I
proud.
appreciate that.
Comedy's cool right now. I did. I've only done like 2 shows this month.
That's 2 more than I've done.
Yeah. I took a little break after the old fireworks competition. Mr. Third Place over here. Congratulations again.
That's actually your new name, Joe, is Mr. Third
Mr. Third Place.
Huh.
We had Mr. First Place earlier on. But
yeah, we had Mr.
Did you
First
mention
Place.
Mr. First Place?
We did.
You mentioned that he won it.
Yes.
I would mention that in every.
Well, actually, I unofficially made Joe Mr. Second Place because Miss Second Place didn't respond to my message to be on the show.
Oh.
So I
disqualified.
Yeah, she's been bumped.
Well, she doesn't. She's only 2 months in, so you know.
Yeah, well,
she doesn't know the bump she's about to get in the comedy career.
Open micers.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a cool show last week in Toledo. It was on the rooftop of some bar that was overlooking the Mud Hen Stadium.
It was actually on the roof.
It was on the roof. I did comedy on a roof.
Does sound fun.
It was fun. Went up first.
Which is always fun.
That's just a blast.
Yeah, that's never disappointing to be first one going on.
I did fine. As I drunkenly said later, I know how to get a laugh when I need a laugh.
Yeah. Depending on how your set goes, though, that might not be a good idea to be up on the roof. Like,
I'm done, guys.
Yeah. Some of the people I rode up with, I thought might jump. So,
so you were encouraging them.
I was just like, yeah, man, that set wasn't that bad. It's one of those situations. I don't know what to say to people after they have bad sets.
Usually, when I have a bad set, I really don't want anybody to say anything to me.
Yeah.
Especially, well, it wasn't that bad because I know it was worse than what I thought it was.
Don't lie to me.
Don't lie. Well, I'll be honest. I won't say anything to you. I won't lie to you. I've never seen either of you have a bad set, so I don't know.
I have had several.
Right. Can't even count.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of bad sets.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's they're brutal. Anybody that's done the chapter when it was still in existence has had a bad set.
Yeah.
But you get a laugh there, you know the joke's good and you can keep it. That was I like places like that though, you know.
And they're challenging. That's why I kept going back. I wasn't going to let it chase me away.
No. It really, if you really got to work for it, it helps you stay on your A game. Yeah. But I don't know anything. I'm an open micer. So.
Yeah. I think the biggest laugh I ever got at the chapter was actually making fun of the host of the show for that night. It wasn't Dale. He had somebody else hosting who had never been to the chapter before.
Yeah.
And it was, he didn't
do
well at all. He was supposed to do about 6 to 8 minutes as a host, and after about 2 minutes,
he was done.
He was done, and he said, "I'm getting off here. Here's your next comic."
Oh boy. Yeah,
So that was
and they're
the
out
biggest-
back smoking.
Yeah.
I need to stall for, I guess, another 4 to 6 minutes.
No, I've had a set where I had to call the host back up because I had nothing.
Oh,
I
really?
actually blanked.
You just blanked?
I blanked.
Wow.
On stuff that I'd done before. It just, I got cocky. I thought I could do 15 minutes straight. I didn't really put a lot of effort into it. I was like, I know this stuff. And I got up there, and about 6 minutes in, I just lost whatever I had, and I tried to just wing a few things that were disastrous. And finally, I think Keith Irvin was hosting the event. So finally, I just grabbed the mic and I'm like, Keith, I'm done. And he's inside. So I'm just standing there like this, waiting for him to come back out.
Just stood there and waited on him.
It's like, well, what else am I going to say at this point?
I
I'm
said
done.
I was done. I meant it.
That was not a good time.
No, that doesn't sound like too good of a time. Where was that at?
I think you were there. It was a cancer benefit thing. It was like 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think you were there.
I was there because at the cancer benefit, I smoked a cigarette on the stage. I thought it was.
It was a benefit for cancer, not somebody with cancer.
Right. We're
cancer.
encouraging cancer to keep doing what you're doing.
Free cigarettes, kids.
That was a fun. We did another show together, the wedding.
That was. I don't think there was any winning on that one.
I had a pretty good set. I had a good set.
Yeah, I don't even know what I did up there.
I brought a kid up on stage.
I think I brought a kid up on stage and let him tell fart jokes. I think that's pretty much.
And that's all you can do at a wedding because you definitely.
And everything you prepared was stuff that they told you was going to be adult oriented because they were going to send the kids home at 9,
and then they didn't.
Well, not only did they not send the kids home, that was our audience because, of course, with the dance floor there, you couldn't connect with the actual audience.
Yeah.
And these 2 kids, they were like 6 and 8, pulled chairs up right in front of the stage, and it's like and I'd get halfway through a joke and realize I can't tell you the punchline.
No.
Are you kids familiar with DVDA?
Yeah, that was a rough one. That was a rough one.
It was.
It was an experience though, and that's kind of why I went to that one because there was actually another show somebody asked me to be on that night, and I actually made the conscious decision. It's like I could be on this show and it'd probably be a real good set, and I'd have fun, or I could do this wedding show that's probably going to be a disaster. I'm going to go with the wedding.
You're going to go with the experience every time.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's how you learn to do something really stupid.
I'm like all about doing comedy in like the weirdest places right now. Like I just want to do it in places that you don't know. Like I don't want to do bars. I don't want to do
on a roof.
Like on a roof. Yeah. I have a show at a bowling alley coming up. Like
that could be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
It was a flat roof, right? Not like an 8-12 pitch or something that.
It was slanted for sure.
Sit on a sponge.
That's how you end your set. You just let go. That's a new style of comedy right there. The roof plunge.
The roof plunge. It's my closer. It worked. Yeah. Don't worry.
But no, the wedding show, I actually learned that was when I learned a heck of a lot of respect for Raymond Jackson.
Yeah.
Because I saw him go up like it was no big thing and didn't do any material.
Yep.
And he started running it like he was the MC at their wedding.
Yep.
And I thought that was like, that's brilliant right there.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh, absolutely.
He's a vet.
Yep.
I don't know how many years he's in, but he's done it.
Oh, yeah.
He's done it. He still grinds. He still hustles. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Shout out to Ray Jackson.
Absolutely.
Running open mics. Pretty cool. Hannah's on Mondays. I'm sure you already.
Well, I don't think it's an open mic anymore. I think he's trying to turn Hannah's into a booked show.
Boo.
Yeah.
No, that stinks. But still, shout out.
But still, shout out. But little shout held some of the shout back.
Yeah,
now.
it's
a
loud whisper.
Right.
To Ray Jackson.
Right, loud whisper out.
Talk out.
Well, yeah, you know.
So what other kind of weird places have you done comedy?
I mean, a living room. You've done the living room show.
I have. That you're talking about Super Dope.
Yeah, Super Dope.
I have not got.
You haven't done Super Dope yet.
No.
It's
I haven't been to one either because I just my work schedule for a long time hasn't allowed me to do much. But that's why I started doing this here.
Yeah,
my work schedule, even when I first started doing this, was kind of screwy. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of the. It's not that I'm not a fan of it. I have so much anxiety in like tight places. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm in a living room and then there's just like 30 people all smashed in a room.
Almost on your lap.
On my lap. And I'm trying to do jokes and I get nervous and there's.
Yeah, that would be kind of rough.
And there's smoke and I get
there's
all.
joints being passed around and then they like look at you for a punchline.
No cops, please.
Yeah, you didn't listen to the setup. You're probably not going to get the punch.
Yeah, for sure.
You were coughing during the setup.
And I'm straight, not straight edge, but I just drink alcohol. You know.
You're right. You're straight edge. You just
drink alcohol and you smoke cigarettes. So I get a lot of anxiety around that stuff because I feel like they just think I'm a narc the whole time. They're just like he's not cool. Look at him.
Yep. He's wearing a wire.
I am wearing a wire.
He's gonna turn us all in.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is the contact high makes you very paranoid.
Yeah. which is why I quit smoking to begin with because I was just like I would like lay in my bed at nighttime and like I had some neighbors and they didn't speak English and I was like, they're plotting to kill me right now. Like that happened more than once. And I was like, I should probably stop doing this to myself.
Yeah, that's a sign.
That is the sign. Yeah. And it was just, I was done with that. So.
You're not about that life.
I'm not about that life anymore.
Are your neighbors still? Are they still plotting? Or
no, they're very nice.
Okay.
My new neighbors, yeah.
Oh, new neighbors.
They got new neighbors. I bought a house since the last time I was here.
Well, there you go. House, wife, kid.
Yeah,
man, you're becoming a man.
Sure.
In between radio shows.
Sure. I'm
so proud.
Yeah. You should be more proud of Carol.
She's done it.
Yeah, she's doing all the stuff, and I'm just kind of like, that's cool.
Yep. Good job, honey.
Yeah,
they need that support.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's what women want. Everybody.
Yeah,
someone to go
husband.
One pat on the back.
Yep, high five. You got this. Because I don't.
We had a plumber come into our house today because we have a pipe. It's like I think it's cast iron pipe. I don't know. So it's like an old cast iron pipe, and like there was just like corrosion all over and on it and stuff, and we're like, is it gonna burst? I don't know. So we called the plumber in, and I stayed home from work, and the plumber came, did his thing, and I was like working upstairs because I work in IT, so I'm just kind of like doing computer stuff upstairs. And he was like, I'm done. And I'm like, tight. And then I like left the house. I like looked at it and I left. I was like, looks good. We get home. Carol gets home and she was like, that looks awful. Did you even look at it? And I'm like, yeah, I looked at it for sure. I'm like, did you see?
It looked like a pipe.
It looked like a pipe with some epoxy on it. That's all that I know. And that was right before I got here. It was just kind of like, what is going on with this pipe? What are we going to do about it? And I'm like, call the people? Is that what you do?
Yep. Isn't that the guy you called him back?
Yeah, I'm just going to give him a call back, I guess.
Has he changed his number since then?
Probably has. I don't
It's like, he just has burner phones as his work phone. He throws them out as soon as he leaves the house.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, I guess I did say what the fight was on air, so we'll find out if my wife listens.
Yeah, there you go. So was it a full-blown fight over a pipe for a plumber job that you didn't even do?
No. There's always more to the story.
There's always
it's just a catalyst.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
There's
thing
always
that
something
broke
that
the
gets it
camel's back.
started.
Yeah.
When they're that's a
She was mad about something else. She's like, I'm going to call a plumber, and he's going to do crappy work, and then I'm going to start bringing up some other stuff that I've been angry about for 3 months.
So the whole thing was planned.
Right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'm going to look in her diary, and I'm going to see the whole diagram of all the events that are about to happen, and it's...
You'll be shocked at how far it goes, because it's probably started... She's probably been chipping away at that pipe. There was nothing wrong with it when you guys moved in. That was planned way in advance.
Legit?
In fact, just when she was going to look at houses, when you were looking at houses together, she found one with a weak pipe because she knew she could chip away at that.
There's a spot. There's a spot. There's a spot.
Yeah. They got to look at these things. You're going to have to look back at diaries she filled a year ago.
That maybe I'll be able to see into my future.
Yeah. You'll never be able to decipher it.
No,
but you'll only not your future events. You won't be able to decipher those.
No,
but
not yet.
You'll recognize.
I'll recognize
the plot
certain
up to things that have
certain
already
key
happened.
points.
Yes.
Okay,
but anything beyond that, you won't know until it hits.
Yeah, I really hope she doesn't listen to this. That would be.
Well, I hope no women listen to this because we're giving away all their secrets.
Yeah.
If I knew how to decipher them, I'd share that too.
I guess.
And we'd just blow their whole world open.
It's probably some sort of ancient text would be is what they.
Yeah.
It's like the text Indiana Jones sees.
Right. Hieroglyphics is what.
The Divine Lady's secret text.
I think we should probably take a break and just you can call home and
but double check to make sure.
Hi, honey.
How's it going? Hey.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yep. And since I didn't play any Pottersfield, because I wasn't sure what Dwight could handle.
Yeah. Right.
So since he's left, I'm going to go ahead and play Fell from Grace. So here's.
Wednesdays on Eventide, Robert Yetter and Mike Shea sit down and throw albums at each other, talking about them, picking them apart, ripping them a new one. All different artists, all different genres, all different levels of suckage. It's Track Record, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on the Eventide podcast feed. For more information, go to eventideent.com.
They say, see a broad to get that booty yak 'em, leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Cold got to be. Yo, shit.
Told Carol.
All right, we're back on live
there we
radio. That's why I always give that pause to wait and see what else you're going to say.
Still on.
Yep, still up. We're back on live radio.
We're back
show.
on the air.
Well, this is usually my warning when you see the hands go up.
I wasn't even.
See, that's
that would.
That's how I catch people.
That would require me
in.
making eye contact or near.
I always like to come in the middle of the conversation and put us back on air just to catch everybody off.
Woo! Glad I wasn't cursing.
Yeah. We're back on the live radio show. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with this week's guest co-host, Joe Robinette.
Here I am.
And our guest for this hour, the wonderful Dusty Harvey.
Here I am as well. I was trying to match Joe's energy.
Excitement.
Absolutely. We got to keep it going.
They bring me in.
We got about 24 minutes that we got to just stay pumped, and we can get through this.
This
is a
cakewalk.
News stories.
We got news stories.
We got news
I am so bad. I can't be funny with this stuff. All right, let's try. Let's do this.
Well, hey,
let's do this.
You want to do comedy in weird places? How about a radio station?
Oh, there we go. Check it off the bucket list.
Absolutely. I had the sheet upside down. I can't read them like that.
You couldn't see it at home, but it really was upside
Joe,
down.
This is the one I skipped when Dwight was in here because a woman is facing felony drug charges after police said they found 82 grams of drugs in her vagina. Desiree Webster, 20 years old, was arrested June 25th in Shawano, which is Wisconsin, apparently, after police pulled over her 1997 Monte Carlo she was driving. Her companion, 39-year-old Gerald McCollum, a convicted drug dealer, was also in the car. Officers pulled over the car after getting a tip that McCollum might be selling heroin, cocaine, marijuana, meth, and other drugs. Police said McCollum's MO was to travel with a woman who could slip the drugs into her vagina if police stopped them.
Nice.
Where
He
can
knows how to pick them.
He's a thinker.
Where can we get those
Yeah.
tampons?
She's a lady.
A police dog showed particular interest in the driver's seat where Webster had been sitting at the time of the stop. And police put two and two together and said, "I bet they were there."
any other dog? Any other dog?
Sent the dogs in.
This is normal. This is normal. It always goes straight for the crotch, everybody. The police dog.
Yep, my dog at home does this too.
Oh, constantly. Well, now that's immediately where it goes. Are you menstruating right now? Because that's the time that they really go for it.
What was the mass? 28 grams?
82
grams.
Of it doesn't say what of, does it?
It said drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Whatever.
Heroin.
Basically, she was a catch-all that day. Whatever he had was going up there.
Yep.
She had some ibuprofen. Midol. I always go to the gross place. All right. Let's
well, so do those drugs, apparently. See, I have questions on this particular news story because they said that's his MO is to travel with women who he can put the drugs there if they're pulled over. So
how do you think that interview goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much can you carry without stretching? Like, what do you think? 80 grams?
Yeah, it's stretched.
Oh,
okay, you're in.
Does he have one of those chairs that gynecologists have? Just to be like,
well,
they call it a loading dock for him, but yeah, they have one.
Well, that's the thing though, because his MO is to put him in there if the police pull him over. So he's got to. She's got to be able to take him at a moment's notice.
It's not like she's dispensing them for sales.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You just push like B5 on her chest and you get a joint. Spits out.
Yeah.
Which would be sweet if he could work that out.
Dispenser down there, it's just a head you fold up and something pops out. Yep. What do you want? There it is. So yeah, that's
yeah. I wait. You skipped that for Dwight? Why is that?
I don't know. Something about drugs and vaginas, and So yeah, that's there are a lot of questions on that, and I don't even think I can formulate all of them, and I think it's run its course at this point. So.
I would like to interview that guy for my fake podcast.
For your fake,
I'd like to interview you for my podcast.
Yeah, he doesn't need to know it's fake.
No, he doesn't. I just record from my phone.
Because that would be the main question: is what is your interview process? Because they've
yeah.
And do you run drills? Because that's a lot of stuff to get in there in a short amount of time. Like, you need to have that below 20 seconds.
She has 2-a-days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a full out setup in his shop where they're like in the car and he's like, and cop hits the stopwatch. They'd have to have time trials, little tests for
how many. They'll figure out how far away the cop car and how many steps it takes.
Oh yeah, it's all a science. With your
guys, I think we're criminals. I think we just we're breaking down this guy's.
Well, we're not criminals. We just think like them.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, because everything has to be planned.
For sure.
You don't just you don't just random at a moment's notice. Cram a bunch of drugs up in there. Up.
In reality, he probably just asked her, "Hey, if we get pulled over, can you shove this up your?" That's probably about it.
And she said, "It took you this long to ask."
I thought you'd never ask.
Yep. This is our 4th date, and it took you this long to ask.
I know you're old-fashioned, but...
Yep. She says not without a ring. He's throwing her out of the car.
I mean, I'm sure she was never allowed to wear pants.
Right, because that would be way too inconvenient.
No, she was be like a skirt.
You almost need to have a shoehorn in there at all times, just in case.
It's like an air gun. Just shoot right up.
Like one of those shirts Like when they shoot the shirts out.
Yeah. Shirt cannon right here on the driver's side. What's that for? Emergencies. That's what. Oh, that's terrible. South Carolina, this is like totally the opposite direction.
Okay.
A South Carolina woman who won $250,000 from a scratch-off lottery ticket said she only bought the ticket because of a clerk's mistake. A Greenville woman said she was at a Red Robin Foods in Greenville County when the clerk mistakenly handed her the wrong scratch-off ticket. That's terrible. Poor her. The woman said she decided to buy the $10 seven ticket anyway and ended up winning $250,000. The winner said she plans to pay it forward. I'm going to give it to my church.
Stupid.
And then give back to the community, she said. As for me, I'm good.
What?
Take it outside and set it on fire.
Yep.
That first story is supposed to make me feel sick.
And this one
but
actually
this is
does,
the one
yes.
that's just like,
well,
yeah.
I think it was fine up until her quote.
Yeah. I like the other woman much better.
Yeah, then it's like,
right.
Well, yeah, at least the other woman's honest. You
Yeah.
know, if this woman
And
said she was
dedicated.
going to buy a shirt cannon.
She's a solid. She goes the extra mile.
If this woman said she's going to use that scratch-off ticket to buy a shirt cannon to shoot drugs up in her vajayjay, that would have been a better news
For
story.
sure. And like, I got this niece, and she has a special talent.
She just needs a few tools.
Yep. See, because I've seen shows where they shoot things out. I haven't seen the one where you shoot the shirt cannon full of drugs into it. That's
Red Robin Foods.
Red Robin Foods.
So burgers and fries. You can get
I guess
scratchy tickets there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yum.
Yep. Delicious. Overrated fries, though.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest. Very overrated fries.
They're all you can eat for a reason.
Yeah.
I think I've been to Red Robin like one time. Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I've never been a fan.
Yeah.
Look at us. Agreeing.
Shut them down.
Yeah. Close all of them.
You heard it here first, folks.
A traffic camera in China was recording as more than 300 feet of cloth unfurled off the back of a truck and covered the road behind the vehicle. The video shows a cloth roll unwinding behind the truck in Jiangsu Province Road and spreading like a carpet behind it. Investigators were able to identify the truck from the footage and contact the driver. Police said the driver was unaware that he lost the 328-foot length of cloth until they contacted him to return it.
Hope it was red, so everyone would feel fancy.
I'm surprised that one made the cut.
Yeah, me too.
A little bit.
See, what happened is last week we went through every single news story I had. So I had like a couple hours yesterday to throw these together. So sometimes you just got to throw crap on there and just hope that you don't go through that many. But here we are with 328 foot of carpet in China on a Chinese road.
Wonder what those roads are like.
Carpeted.
Yeah.
They're pretty fancy, apparently.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Because that guy didn't even notice. It blended in.
Great for my tires.
Yeah.
I'm moving to China, everybody.
Exactly, yeah. Animal rescuers are warning of possible bird-eating tarantulas on the loose in Britain after 3 baby spiders were found in a parking lot. The RSPCA said 10 pots were found at the site of a parking lot at Bateman's Yard Stable in somewhere in England. And rescuers discovered 3 baby Brazilian tarantulas in the pots. 2 of the pots were broken after apparently being struck by cars, leading to the animal rescue group to suspect the baby tarantula's parents might be on the loose. The pots bore labels, including one saying Brazilian pink bird-eating spiders. Do they only eat pink birds, I guess?
So they eat flamingos?
Yeah,
that's the only.
I guess, unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of those in England.
No, probably
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not since these three have been in town.
All right, you kept saying pots. So that's what is that like baby spider? Is that what a pot is, or like
no,
a pot?
Like
I think he means like a literal pot.
Yeah, like containers.
Oh, containers.
Because they had the label on the pots. One of the labels said Brazilian pink bird-eating spider.
Why are those in England?
I don't know.
Is the question.
I guess,
it sounds like a horror movie, and I'm kind of into it.
Night of the Spoilers.
Yeah.
That was a terrible British accent. I'm not doing that anymore. The woman, the inspector, RSPCA inspector Christy Ludlam said, the woman caller who contacted us was understandably shaken when she realized the pots contained spiders, as she's terrified of them. It appears someone ran over 2 of the pots, and the driver told the woman who called us he thought he saw 2 larger spiders. No bodies were found, so it is assumed they may have
run
escaped.
over the third pot. That'd be great.
Exactly.
And, we don't need to send anybody.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, just run over. If they ran over them correctly, if they just bumped into them and busted them open, then they got loose. If they just like flattened the pots altogether, that would have been the.
I picture like a clay pot. Like,
yeah. Like some Ming Dynasty.
Right. A proper spider pot.
Right. Yeah. You can't just have some random.
Metal.
These Brazilian spiders only get transported in 15th century.
How do they eat birds? Trickery or
a
really good web?
A little bit of both, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably poison it.
Yeah. And somebody just made it up. And they don't really eat birds.
Yeah, somebody just put a label on there.
I don't know. There's all sorts of crazy stuff down there, man. I like watching like those bootleg YouTube videos of just like animals just eating stuff. And
you're sick. No,
I'm not. I'm not watching humans. I'm watching just animals eating other animals. That's what we do.
It's nature.
Yeah, just nature, man.
The circle of life.
Hello, Governor. I just wanted to. Yes. Wee bit of spiders on the loose, eh?
You want to touch the spiders, loose? Touch of the old gobble, the old bird spider.
Gobble. Oh,
gobble the old bird.
Oh, that's I'm going to use that in my vernacular.
A California woman. Yeah, I can do everything else. I can't say California woman.
Wee bit of gobble.
Yeah.
Wee bit of gobble. Bird spiders.
A California woman shared video showing her using her mom voice. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's got a picture.
Have you got the spiders pulled up on your phone?
A spider eating a bird.
Oh, wow.
That's bonkers.
They do exist.
It's a real...
that's wild. Yeah, that is wild stuff.
That's weird, wild stuff.
A California woman shared video showing her using her, quote, mom voice to order a porch-invading bear to turn around and leave. Brittany Christensen posted a video to Facebook showing a black bear starting to come up the steps to her Lake Tahoe home. Christensen said to the bear, "Oh, no, go away." The bear then turns and quickly leaves the property. My mom, all right then. Don't you have any picnic baskets? My mom voice actually worked. Just wish it worked on my kids.
There it is.
The bear will work on
Mom! The black bear's back again.
We were driving through West Virginia a couple weeks ago, and I saw this thing on the side of the road, and it's like, my first thought was, that's a dead monkey. Just because I saw its hands, like, laying there, and it's like, oh, yeah, they have black bear here. Forgot about that.
That could have gone worse.
I don't even think I've ever seen a black bear.
I hadn't until then, but it was dead, unfortunately.
So. It's been years. It was well, now you made us sad.
I know. Maybe it was sleeping.
A Virginia man on Saturday totaled
hit a bear.
Hit a bear and totaled a $300,000 car one day after he bought it.
Oh, I think I saw this.
The Fairfax County Police Department said a man driving a McLaren 720S and crashed into a tree because he was speeding. The driver, who was not named by police because his parents took care of that, suffered only non-life-threatening injuries. The police said purchased Friday, totaled Saturday. This McLaren 720S, costing around $300,000, was destroyed today in Great Falls because of speed. The driver was taken to the hospital with thankfully only non-life-threatening injuries. A reminder to slow down or it could cost you. I would say he had non-life-threatening injuries until his wife found out he bought and totaled a $300,000 car.
Yeah,
then that's when the life-threatening part comes in.
Yeah, for sure. A $300,000 car. Wow. I don't even have words. I feel bad for that poor fella.
I don't.
Learn to drive your race car before you buy it.
Exactly. He had a $300,000 car. Don't really feel bad for him.
Yeah.
That's why my dream car is a Prius. That's my that's the car.
I'm not gonna. It achievable.
I'm just it's achievable, and I'm not going to speed off the road and hit a tree.
There you go. See, this guy has a $300,000 car. I have a 200,000 mile car.
Yeah,
that's why I don't really feel bad for him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm getting there.
Yeah. There you go. Well, you just keep driving.
150. I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
Something like I won't hit 300. There's no way. I'm lucky to hit another 1,000.
Okay. A Quebec family who set up a camera to catch a suspected squirrel stealing their tomatoes made a shocking discovery. The culprit was the mailman. Rob Morin and Paula Habib, that's her name, said they noticed in June that produce was going missing from their tomato and strawberry plants outside their home in Mount Royal, a Montreal suburb, and they suspected a squirrel was behind the vanishing fruits. Habib told CTV News, "We had a full set of tomatoes, and then all of a sudden the tomatoes started going down." I'm guessing the count started going down. Yes, and the tomatoes started going down.
They just started going down.
Yeah, tomatoes going down. We didn't take any ourselves. We thought it was the squirrels. Morin said they started to think something else was happening when the suspected squirrels didn't leave a mess. They were very clean, thoughtful squirrels stealing their tomatoes. That's
How hungry do you have to be to just be like, yeah, I'll take some tomatoes with me?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of hungry. It's just a matter of bored.
It's just bored?
I don't know. Bored tomatoes. They
just want to steal something.
Yeah. I mean, is he eating them or is he throwing them at people?
That's a federal job.
So would that make it a federal offense?
I feel like it would.
It should, it should. He's a trusted civil servant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be held to a higher standard
than everyone else.
Your average squirrel.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, not a lot higher
the
standard.
Most, but
I mean, the squirrel doesn't have to go through a civil service exam in order to deliver nuts.
Yeah.
So this man should be held to a higher standard.
I'm just trying to imagine
our second squirrel story.
It is.
Imagine a classroom full of squirrels.
Good call. That's because the word of the day is squirrel.
Nice.
See, I'm trying to write down. See, everybody got real quiet. I'm just trying to write. Squirrel of the day is the name of this episode.
Squirrel of the day.
I think.
Her name is Pixie.
Pixie.
My Carol had a neighbor at one of her old apartments who was obsessed with the squirrels. Like straight up obsessed with them. She would follow them around
and dressed up like one. Or
no, she would follow the squirrels around, and there was this albino squirrel, and she's a French lady, the sweetest lady on the face of the earth. She's a French lady, and she like called it some French name, and like that was basically like her obsession was just following this albino squirrel around the neighborhood. She would line.
She was a fast woman, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she was.
Because squirrels are nimble.
She scurried along.
They can get away from us.
And she would like line the sidewalks, which is nuts because someone complained that she wasn't allowed to throw the acorns and the nuts in their yards, and she would just sit in her car and just watch the squirrels. And she was the best. Like I loved her so much. Like I was like, you're my best friend.
I wish I could just derive joy from going and watching squirrels.
It was more than joy.
I
was
wish
like it was her purpose.
Right. Like I wish I could have something like that's like what I do. I go watch squirrels and I love it.
Yep, I'm a squirrel watching
She
kind of
died
person.
doing what she loved.
Yeah. I wish I had that kind of free time to just follow an albino squirrel.
I did. I
And
had
line
2
the
years
sidewalk
off,
with
and I didn't
nuts.
do anything with it. At least if I had stalked an albino squirrel, I could say I did that for 2 years.
Would have been something. Yeah.
That would be something, right?
Yep, 2 years off, no albino squirrels.
No albino
in the
squirrels,
whole time at
no
all.
Jesus, no
Oh,
Bigfoot.
What are you doing?
Very few jokes.
But you got good at the ones that you already
I did
had.
get a little better.
Yeah,
did.
well, there you
Appreciate
go.
that.
You accomplished something in 2 years
did.
of unemployment.
Oh, I'm jealous. It's the dream.
One more news story,
Okay.
and we'll about wrap this sucker up.
Oh,
A German city is looking for a way to get rid of a giant catfish that is believed to have developed a taste for ducklings
When
after
Germans
eating.
get rid of things. They
Yep.
take it a little far.
Yep, after eating all of its fellow fish at the municipal pond. The roughly 1.5 meter or 4.9 foot fish has been making waves in Offenbach near Frankfurt. News agency DPA reported that the city government said Monday that it has found a professional angler to catch the fish, first seen about a year ago, but a formal contract has yet to be signed.
His name is Angler Spear.
Yeah, Angler. The city plans to have its unwelcome guest caught alive and then taken to by train.
Oh, boy. Oh man, I didn't go there this time.
I couldn't help myself. The city plans to have its unwelcome guest caught alive and taken to a private pond somewhere in an undisclosed location.
Private pond.
But officials will first have to be satisfied that it can't escape into flowing water and that its new home is suitable for a catfish.
Little do they know that catfish is actually a bass. That's where my mind went the second you said catfish, and then you said German, and I was just like, I'm stuck on the catfish part. Like jokes, like you know.
You weren't ready to put the catfish on a train.
I was not.
No.
I was not. This catfish's name is Anne, and
She lives in an attic in the Netherlands.
it's an attic that looks like a pond.
Yeah. That's where it's hiding, so the Germans don't catch it.
Likes riding, I've heard.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing to shake. The Germans.
Oh, okay.
and the rounding up of people.
I thought you were just talking about Parkinson's. It's a tough thing to shake. Yeah.
It's a good place to end.
That is a great place to end this episode. You have plugs for shows coming up, my friend?
I do. I have 2 plugs. July 28th in Muncie, Indiana at the Village Bowl Bowling Alley.
The Village Bowl Bowling Alley.
I'll be there with headliner Joe Bates and a couple of Dayton comics. Got Joe Young, got Colin Brunn and John Morris, and a couple other guests.
All those guys and Dayton comics are going?
Yeah, all those guys and Dayton comics.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm running. It's free. I like anyone from Muncie, Indiana. You know,
Yeah.
is my dad listening right now? He'll be there. So there's one.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Come to the show, Dad. And September 11th, I'll be at the Blue Note in Miamisburg.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Haven't done that yet, so I'm excited about it. 10 minutes of PG material. We'll see.
Awesome. Joe, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm on a house show in Sydney Friday, so if you're in Sydney and know Jimmy Market and where he lives, stop on by.
Oh, yeah, I might be on that.
Dwight Simmons is headlining, I think.
Yeah, he is.
He's very funny, so that should be fun, maybe, if there's people. And I think 27th and 28th, I'm hosting for Nate Washington at Wiley's.
Awesome.
That show will be.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I think that's it.
Well, Joe, thanks for
having me this week.
Spot for this whole week.
Yeah.
Dusty, always a pleasure. We'll have to get you in more often.
Yeah.
Get you, just start a fight at the house.
And then just stroll over here.
I'm going to the radio show.
And we'll talk about it.
And I'm going to talk about this.
So, Carol, if you're listening, it was my fault. I brought it up.
Yeah, it was all Don. It was not me. Everything you're mad about.
In fact, I told the plumber to do a terrible job. I know the guy. All right. On that note, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it a night. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. This has been the Life Radio Show on WWSU 106.9 with your host, Don Smith. The Life is also available in podcast form on iTunes, PodBean, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blueberry, and YouTube, as well as on Eventide Entertainment's podcast network. Be sure to like the Life Radio Show on Facebook, and if you have any comments or suggestions, email thelife1069@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Now get out there and enjoy some live comedy this week. You can check out wileyscomedy.com for all your upcoming shows.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.